Welcome back, crew, to Boats vs. Haulover, where man and machine take on Mother Nature down at beautiful Haulover Inlet here in Miami, Florida. And as you can tell, as this boat comes in the inlet, it's not the craziest day at Haulover, but it's still a little rough. So it's going to be interesting to see how our captains fare as they step in the ring and attempt to do battle with the inlet. And here we go, the first round of our contest. The boats have decided to go ahead and toss a trophy in the ring to see if it can get them on the board, but let's see how this one fares out. Who will get the first round? Will it be the boats or Haulover? Let's go. And our trophy's making its way out. And Cap's kind of taking the slow roll approach. He's not really up on plane, so he's getting worked around a little bit, and man, there we go. Haulover smacks him and winds up knocking open the anchor locker. But the way that thing's bouncing, that's not good. He must have lost some bolts or something because it appears that it is loose just by the way it's shaking. So our girl's gonna go up here and try and reclose it, but unfortunately for these guys, Haulover smacked him good, caused the damage, and Haulover, of course, is gonna wind up taking the win here in the first round of our contest. And here in the second round, the boats are going to toss a cobia in the ring to try and see if it can get them back on the board, but Haulover does have the early 1-0 edge. But here we go, round two, as our cobia goes to make its way out. Cap looks pretty solid. He's got the boat just barely up on step, trying to keep the bow high. You can tell how big the waves are right here when this cobia is getting pushed around that much, but Cap keeps it moving, keeps the throttle hand steady, and that bow up to make sure he doesn't stuff it. And it's a rough day. You can see by all the white caps, but Cap makes it out, and he's gonna wind up taking a win for the boats here in the second round. And that will bring us to the third round of our contest. We are now tied at 1 apiece, and our third round contestants having a little bad luck. Unfortunately for them, they started to work their way out of Haulover Inlet, and they wound up losing power to their motor. So Cap's scrambling right now, doing what he can to try and get this motor restarted. But unfortunately here in Haulover, we've got a current. When that tide's coming in, it'll rip you right back in toward the sandbar. When that tide's coming out, it'll rip you right back out into the ocean. Fortunately for this crew, well, I say fortunately, they're getting ripped back in, which is probably better than being ripped out. But the problem is, right here, this yacht approaches them and winds up not slowing down, as we see in the images, even though Cap tries to warn him like, hey, I'm dead in the water, and he winds up tossing a massive wake, which is gonna wind up sending this boat over into the bridge. But just another one of the headaches and hassles you have to deal with down here at Haulover. And unfortunately for this crew, they're going to wind up taking a loss in the third round. And that's going to bring us to a 2-1 edge for Haulover as we move into the fourth round of our competition. And here in the fourth round, we're going to feature a mystery boat. I'm not 100% sure what this vessel is. It's obviously a performance catamaran of some kind, but it definitely feels a little out of place as it says Turks and Caicos Adventures on the side. I'm not sure if they brought this boat from Turks and Caicos back to here, or if this crew is taking delivery of a brand new boat that they plan to take down to Turks and Caicos, but it's a rough day, so they're definitely, either way, getting a good experience as to what this boat's going to do in some rougher conditions. Now, this boat doesn't want to see that. It really wants to get up and go, but the crew winds up handling it just fine. And even though it's nothing impressive, I'm going to have to wind up giving the boats the win in this round. And that's going to bring us to a 2-2 tie as we move into the fifth and final round of our contest. And here in the fifth round, the boats are going to toss a robalo in the ring to try and close it out and see if they can take the win. But it's a rough day, and this looks like a smaller robalo. I'm guessing around a 20-footer, but if I'm wrong, you guys can let me know in the comments. But our crew is definitely taking it easy, trying to make sure they don't stuff that bow. There's a pretty heavy following sea on this one, so they've got to watch how they approach the inlet. And here we go, he goes over the top of one, and they plop down, but they still look good. Cap leans into the throttle a little bit to try and keep that bow up, and he's even going to cut it closer to the north side of the inlet, which is a great move, and they're going to wind up sneaking in and taking a win for the boats here in the fifth round, and that means the boats are going to take the win in this episode. Thanks for watching, crew. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Boats vs. Haulover. If you did, please check out our other content. We have Wavy Boats, who does a bunch of great things down at the inlets. My channel, Broncos Guru, does some great comedy boating videos there as well. And of course, we've got the Miami Boat Ramps channel that focuses on all the hilarity that happens at the boat ramps in South Florida. And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and drop an anchor on the subscribe button here.